testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 3. Am I back? Am I back? Is this working? Is this not working? My computer completely crashed, bricked. I don't even know if is it work. Nothing's opening. Hello, hello, hello. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Why can I not see chat? What the fuck is going on? Oh brother, oh brother, oh brother, oh brother. One of those days. Those sleeper cells got me. It's probably my nemesis. Probably my nemesis. You know, first she takes my lotto tickets. And now this. Can I even load these programs back up? I'm trying to get chat and everything to where I need it to be. Just need to try to quickly restore this stuff. Dude, what a pain in the butt. What an absolute pain in the butt. Where are we at? Where are we at? Well, that looks like it's frozen, unfortunately. All right. Is this frozen? Can you guys see any of this? All right. I have some chat. Here you go. You guys have that. Are we back? Kind of back, but also kind of not back. All right. Let me quickly get all this stuff to a point that you guys can see it without wanting to gouge out your eyeballs. All right. I think I'm live. Can I get a thumbs up if you guys can hear me and see me and if everything looks and sounds normal? Can you see the charts? Can you hear me? Let me do this. I somehow did not get knocked out of that position, which is absolutely fucking crazy. I'm actually almost back to break even. That's the max I could do. All right, you can hear me, you can see me. All right. Well, as I told you guys, I was playing a little bit of that divergence, which is still seemingly playing out in my favor on the SPY, but the Mag 7, I'm getting conflicting signals here. I'm getting conflicting signals. Wow, dude, all of this is still... All right, I don't have any of that set up. What else do I need over here? Trading view. Okay, I think I'm kind of getting back to where I need to be. We're spinning it back up as quickly as I can. All right, so we don't need this. We don't need this. I will mark out the intraday high. I will mark out the intraday high. I'm almost back to the promised land, with the promised land being in the green. Oh, I don't know. That is still technically higher lows, though. It wouldn't be the craziest thing if it breaks out of this consolidation. The, I guess, theory for this play is still somewhat of a valid one. Dude, I'm losing all of my tools right now. I'm not just losing my mind today, folks. I'm losing access to all of my tools as well, apparently. All right, we're just going sideways with the SPY kind of bleeding off. And I'm just talking about this. The deltas almost made a full trip back down to the low of the day. We're just not seeing the follow through. Ever since 1021, people have been buying puts, and same time people have been selling calls. So you're losing positive delta, gaining negative delta. At 2x the rate, you are dropping the delta. So the SPY is not looking the best, but if you're bearishly biased, you'll be focusing on that. If you're bullishly biased, you'll be focusing on the fact that the Mag 7 is ripping like no other. So one of these is right and one of them is wrong, and they're going to come into parity. Either we break out and rip on the SPY or we break down and vomit on tech, but you can't have it both ways. If I knew which one was right and which one was wrong, I would be a stupidly wealthy guy. I don't know, and anyone who's currently telling you they know which way it's going to break, they don't. They're full of shit. It's just more of, can you get on the right side with minimal risk, or if you're on the wrong side, can you get out with only a minimal hit and then take the right side trade, the proper side trade? But I see that the SPY is dipping to this 10-12 low, while tech is actually holding better. Yeah, look at that delta puked all the way down. Are we back to properly being live where we need to be here? Why can I not do nothing's loan for me? All right. I guess we'll just watch. We'll watch and see. I think I'm live again. Or I'm just talking to myself. Not that that's different from any other day in my life. Are we back? Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Statistically, which one is more accurate, price or options data? What do you mean? They're both accurate. They're both different. Price is price data. Options data is options data. That question doesn't really make sense. Price is price. Options is options. The Mag 7 flow seems like it's just Tesla flow because the rest of the Mag 7 is quite flat. Most likely that's what's going on, but it yet still has the impact of keeping the Qs pretty high. But let's see. I am watching 597 on the SPY here, and I am watching 529 on the Qs. But really, the SPY has been slowly trending down while the Qs have really been just objectively flat while Tesla is breaking out. So the Qs are holding up because like Tesla's just ripping. It's up almost 10% and counting. Wow. The breakout of 335 is a daily bar breakout, and we are just ripping ever since. Oops, that looks ugly. Let me fix all these charts. Cool. All right, let's just make things look less shitty for all you folks. All of my loyal viewers. Okay. Interesting battle here on SPX. Interesting battle. I mean, I suppose you could just watch this. We might be kind of getting a double bottom. Technically, it's a higher low, but just the 6,000 level is so dangerous because you don't know how the big players are going to react to it. Are they going to want to buy and get this breakout, or are they going to use that to sell? And like right now, freeze frame 1043. I think half the world would look at this as a bullish setup, the higher low, the breakout, the follow through, or the other half of the world would say, nope, shoulder, head, shoulder, we're breaking down, didn't hold 6,000, gonna snap this neckline, and then you're gonna have like the measured movement further. Like, and the side who is right, they're gonna like, oh, I told you so. And then the side who's wrong is gonna be like, yeah, no, that was an unlucky break. Like, it's just a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking in this game. Lot of Monday morning quarterbacking. So as SPX is right below 6,000, you have NQ right at 22,000. So both are at key levels, and it could just so easily break either way. Tesla's ripping. That's definitely the belle of the ball today. But see how SPX is losing its bid really, and it's just kind of coming down to this low that we saw at 1012. Qs are actually going for an intraday high, so I guess on my short position I should have played it via ES. I should not have played it via NQ just because there's relative weakness in SPX relative to the Qs. I guess that was a little bit greedy of me because I kept just thinking, hey, if it goes in my favor, like think about how much money you'll make. But you have to consider the times it doesn't go in your favor. All those times. Is it a double bottom right here? What's the flow looking like? The Mag 7 is still so strong, which it really is, as Prophet pointed out. This is just Tesla's flow nonstop. Tesla's just ripping, while NVIDIA is flat, Microsoft is flat, Apple is flat, Netflix popped, but now flat. MicroStrategy actually selling off. Meta's actually catching a bid here. Avago is actually getting hit. But yeah, the clear strong one is so evidently Tesla, which is going to be a high majority of this movement that we're seeing in the Mag 7 because right there, Tesla is obviously included. So we're getting told a very different story between the Mag 7 and the S&P 500, which actually just got a pop. But right here, you could see price went higher. Delta flow lower at 1021, so a bit of divergence. Lower options flow, higher price. Puked all the way up until about 1045. Right here getting a spike, but seemingly quickly being faded, so we might want to be watching this in the short term, but a little bit of a pop right here, like a retest of 6,000, and people once again fading it off of that level. Just got up, tagged it obviously there were sitting sell orders, and now we're just back to this trend line. So watching this, probably worthwhile to watch the low at 10.12 and then the high at 10.21, which happens to be the intraday high. So important swing low, important swing high. Let's just wait and see who wins. Wait and see who wins. I really, really, really should have taken this short on SPX. I don't know why I did it on Qs. I don't know. Wow. Tesla just keeps going. Well, if Tesla were to stop today, that's probably when the Qs would actually turn, but that's a giant if, because as of right now, Tesla is showing no chill. No chill, no chill. Out of my own jealous curiosity, how many of you in here right now are just like ripping Tesla calls? I know we have some degens that definitely have Tesla calls for this Friday, and you probably chased it, and guess what? It just keeps ripping, so it's paying off for you. So do I like the play that you did? No, because I don't think you really respected risk enough. But regardless, you're making money, so I can't really chastise you that much, because you're probably making an absolute amount right now. How many? Oh, you're playing it on TSL, so you're leveraging up leverage even more, up 250%. Good for you guys. No calls, but shares at 318. What chart is looking at makes him want to take a short? Basic understanding of options. Maine Coon up 50K today. Good for you, man. No calls, just holding. Well, yeah, I mean, I have Tesla shares in my long-term account, so I'm getting some exposure to it, but I'm not getting like the degen exposure to it. Broke my ankle once, turned into a flamingo frog for a bit. What? Or are you possibly talking about? All right. Well, SPY not following through. Fake out, breakout there on the Qs. So it did make a fresh high. The SPY is testing that 10-12 low. So let's see if any people decide to buy this dip. This will be telling, but we are right at that 10-12 low. The Qs have a bit of distance to go. So 529 is important on the Qs, and we're at the key level right now on the SPY, 597. Tesla, after a monster 10% rip, now finally having a bit of a breather, but it's just a baby breather. Baby breather. So this thing could easily keep going. The SPY flow is almost at the low of the day. The 0 DTE SPY flow is at the low of the day. The MAG 7 is not far away, but on the flip side of it, the MAG 7 just hit an intraday high. So two completely different stories there. Two wildly different stories there. I'm still in my silly play, which I don't really like that much, but I'm almost back to break even. I'm short at 69. It's trading at 85. I could have been better about this. I could have been short at 22,000. That would have been a stronger play. Would have been a stronger play for sure. All right. Okay, yeah, obviously shout out to Public, sign up for those guys. Oh, and also if you want to trade with someone else's money, Apex's 80% off deal is allegedly ending in 1 day and 13 hours, so don't forget to use that code GOONIE, GOONIE, will get you 80% off. So when you go to Apex, you could take the eval now for about $33, $34, very affordable. Like I said, ending in 1 day and 13 hours, so you have a day and a half to use that code GOONIE, GOONIE, 80% off the test. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. All right, I need some alerts. My spidey senses are tingling on this one, folks. My spidey senses are tingling. And that is not a good sign. Not a good sign. Max, dude, it's so strong. Okay, the NASDAQ had a blow off top. Huh. All right. We are rejected at 6. Look at this. We went up, smacked, higher load. This was the chance to break. It didn't. And then this wick, this might be the telling sign. At 10:45, it went right back up, tagged 6,000, and then practically instantly snapped. We are battling it out at this low at 10:12. It could be a fake out, like where we kind of just like sweep low and then dip buyers decide to come in. That's obviously totally possible. So I'll be looking for that on another retest of 6,000. But if it takes this out, it's kind of setting up this interesting reversion right here at 988 to 986, somewhere in here. Kind of right there. Let me fill this box in. This would be my next drop zone. And if it does hit this, at that point, I should be able to take my profits on the futures account. Should be able to take my profits. Tesla's still absurdly strong. Absurdly strong. All right. I would very much love to hear this alert go off. The 528.93. The way we are battling at the low on the SPY at this 10-12 low, I want to see that low, the 10-12 low on the Qs also get tested. Because at that point, I will feel like less of a dum-dum. At that point, I would in fact feel like less of a dum-dum. What is this low? 18. I could just put it to 20. Take some risk off the table. I don't even really know what I'm doing today. I feel like I didn't really come in today with like a very hardcore specified plan. I feel like I've just been kind of ripping it by the seat of my pants today, and that doesn't really feel the best. It doesn't really feel the smartest. Doesn't feel the best. Doesn't feel the smartest. But I would love to at least get. I would love to turn this into a lotto ticket play where it goes a little bit in my favor. I put my stop to break even. If it hits my profit, great. If it doesn't, whatever. I'll survive. I want to transform a trade that I should arguably not be in. I just want to set the risk to nothing. And if it hits, it hits. If not, whatever. You can't complain that much because it's a trade you shouldn't have been in anyway. So that's what I would like to do. But there are some dip buyers coming in right at the structural low. That makes sense. Tesla is about to make a fresh high. And even we have some dip buyers coming in the Qs here, which probably because Tesla just hit a fresh high. But overall, it is... actually, you could argue we're clearly range bound on the SPY and on the Qs. And depending on, okay, let's predict which way it breaks. Well, you could, if you're bullishly biased, you'd be like, well, look at the Mag 7 flow. And if you're bearishly biased, you'd be like, well, look at the SPY flow. We're just being sold two completely different stories today. And I think any quality trader could make a compelling argument for either direction. So I don't, who knows? Flip of a coin right now. Flip of a coin. You could ask a magic 8-ball. You could pull a tarot card. You could do a wheel of destiny. Oh, hey, while we're waiting to see if I'm about to lose money or make money, a question for all of you, if you folks don't mind. The team at Goonie Inc. and I have been talking about people's desire for the update videos that come out at 7 p.m., roughly 7 p.m. ET, where basically Sunday to Thursday, we do that update video. Question for all of you. Do you like that update video, or would you rather it be a power hour stream, something like 3:30 to 4 p.m.? Which one would be more helpful? Obviously, the content on either of those is just like real time, what happened that day, like kind of breaking it down. But would you find it, do you like that? You're like, yeah, I like to get home after work and do like whatever, have a nightcap and watch those update videos? Or do you prefer to like do that power hour stream where we see the options flow and like talk about things before the market actually closes? Is there opinions? Power. So you guys are actually seemingly split here. Update video, power hour, update video, keep it as is, update video, nightcap update, both. So the issue with both is where it would live. Right now, there's clear algorithmic issues of having it one channel that you both do streaming and videos on. So this is more of an issue on the YouTube side of things that we're noticing than on Rumble. Rumble seems to handle it better. But why it's a question is it seems like the commingling of streams and of videos is a problem. All right. I might be getting lucky here, folks. I might be lucky. Oh, brother, 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 oh, brother. Oh. Well, YouTube should work on that. I wish they would. Trust me. I wish they would. Oh, do I just move my stop to break even right now and pray for it? I mean, it's so absurdly close. The odds of a little bit of a bounce here are very, very high. But I would not go red on the day. That is the trade-off. The chances of getting wicked out, extremely high. But that trade-off comes with protection where at least I'm not losing money. So another thing to consider. Do I want to just go fishing? Do I want to go fishing? I would feel if it could snap really 40, what is this? 42, somewhere between 40 and 42, I'd feel far, far better about it. I mean, this is close. We're within 10 points. That's only like 20-ish cents on the cues. Like this could easily screw me over. All right. Well, at least I'm de-risking a little bit. I moved my stop to 22,000. I'm short at 69. So right now I'm taking on 30 points of risk, which is about $600. I've locked in already a gain of 100, which means I'm taking on a risk of a loss of 500 on the day. Obviously, if this hits, that would be $1,000 on each account. I have 30 accounts, so that's a 30K gain, which would be awesome. I would feel so much better if this 40 to 42 area got tested. If this 40 to 42 area got tested. All right. So the Qs did take out that low, but some buyers are stepping in. Tesla taking a bit of a breather. If you look at it throughout the day, it's not even really a little 5-minute breather, little 5-minute breather. This might just be literally another little 5-minute breather. Maybe it wants to come down and retest 350 because it's such a key psychological and as of today, a key open interest level. So a retest of 350 would not be out of the cards. And you could argue it's still bullish at that point. Looking at the Mag 7 flow, it's definitely not bearish, but it's also not bullish anymore. It just went sideways starting at 1047. So sideways, sideways, sideways. S&P 500 is at a fresh delta low. Fresh delta low. All right. I just need this. I want that alert to go off. Come on. Yeah, some buyers are coming in at 50 here. I don't know. I'm really thinking about just moving my stop to break even. And it's early. My system wouldn't call for it yet. It would need, my system, like I said, the low 40s is where it would call for moving the stop to break even. So basically, I'd be front running the system in more of a risk off way, which like if I were to deviate from my own trading system, that is like the one time where I think it's somewhat acceptable of just to minimize risk. And I've streamed it to you guys so many times before where it seems like if I do it, it knocks me out. And then it goes to my profit target anyway. I mean, I feel like I've streamed that like constantly to you guys. Oh, but the question is, do I want to do it now? It feels like if I did it at this moment, I'd be getting tapped out for break even, but it would be break even. I wouldn't be red like the trade currently is. I wouldn't be red like the trade currently is. How much of a bounce is this going to be? Oh, did I make the right decision or wrong decision? I know by definition that is resulting, which you shouldn't do. Right now, I'm trying to stick to the system at least as much as I humanly can. But it's getting that pop. The fake out breakdown pop. Here's a look at the Mag 7. Almost back to the intraday high, but still pretty much going sideways since 10:45, 10:40. Oh, here's what's happening. The SPY is getting an upswing in the delta. Probably puts locking in a little. Oh, and calls being purchased right here. Starting at 11 a.m. exactly. So start of the hour, puts getting closed out and calls getting purchased. Granted, we are coming off the lowest delta reading of the day, but that's exactly what happened. Adding positive delta, removing negative delta. I wonder if it's going to have any follow through. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute bullish. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute bullish. We are back to that trend. Well, this trend line might not really matter anymore. Wow. We came right to the top of the zone that I had measured out. It's almost as if I should have known it was going to pop. Son of a bitch. That was stupid. I maybe should have taken those gains while the gains were able to be taken. Like literally the fact that I had it perfectly on the chart before. That's frustrating. That's just a poor trade management on my side. Oh, poor trade management on my side. Boom. Fuck, dude. Yeah, that one's on me, team. That one's your boy's fault for sure. That was just weak trading. I guess I was paying attention to too many things. Avago, semiconductors getting a pop there. Tesla not, though, interestingly. Tesla not. Mag 7, dude, it's look at that flow. It's so strong. And even now you have the SPY catching a bottom there at 11 and now really popping. Yep, same thing. Puts continually being closed, calls being continually bought. Puts sold, calls bought, bullish on bullish. Granted, there was a big bearish pullback, but that lasted about 40 minutes. And now, at least the Qs are just back in no man's land. And even the SPY is arguably back in no man's land, but you could really see ever since 10, just the lost hour. The NASDAQ is the lost hour. So we did make a fresh low, potential trend line or trend structure flip. Potential. You just have to wait for that confirmation now. See how we went from higher highs and higher lows to lower highs and lower lows. So that's a fresh lower low. It took out all of these lows. The question here is, what's the next high going to be? Is it going to be the expanding pattern where we have a lower low and a higher high, which is like the worst thing to trade? Or is this just a bounce where we actually do put in a lower high and the new from bullish to bearish is confirmed? We're at this trend line test. We did bounce off of an earlier support level. Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. You can't short this market because people are watching and they will put out a tweet and blow out your short. If you think that the larger Wall Street apparatus cares about one retail trader's position, you need to learn more about the market. What's so interesting about retail is retail truly thinks that Wall Street cares about them, when in reality, they're smaller than a drop in the bucket. Like it just does not matter. The dollar nominal value of retail trading in the overall market most of the time has absolutely no influence. It's just way too small, way too small. And yet retail, it's like kind of like an egotistical thing. They think it matters of like, oh, they're coming for mine. They're coming for my stop. Well, like, well, nope, they actually don't care about your stop at all. They don't care about your 10 shares or your 2 calls or your 2 puts. Like they just, it's way too small. So this argument that someone's watching and they're going to be blowing out my trade is, you think they're going to move the entire futures market so one dude who's trading on a sim to funded account doesn't get a hit? Like that's fucking insanity. Like actually insanity. To think that is how this market works or why it works or anything in between. It's just so far off from like what's actually going on. We're talking about literally a multi-trillion-dollar entity, the entire NASDAQ. Like we're talking like the legit NASDAQ 100. You think someone out there who, first of all, dollar value, it would be absurdly difficult for someone to move it to any meaningful degree by themselves. But let's say that they do. That a person with that much power and money and influence would be coming after a retail trader on a sim to funded platform. Like it's so silly that retail thinks that they have any importance in this world whatsoever. It's so silly. To be fair, there's a very small chance that it's true. No, it's basically zero. Basically zero. Right. Well, the Qs sold, pop. Like I said, it's just coming back to this structural call out of, do we make a fresh high or is it going to get smacked? And then clearly out of the gate, higher highs, higher lows. That was bullish. Then things got questionable in here between 10:30 and 10:45 because all of a sudden we started to see some lower highs. Oh, okay. Then we broke down. Then all of a sudden we started to see lower lows. So we went from a bullish trend to a potential bearish trend. And well, it was by definition bearish because lower lows and lower highs. The question is, what's going on in this bounce? Is this bounce just that, a bounce, and we stick with lower highs and we just keep selling? Or is this now from bullish to bearish back to bullish? Is this going to just be a new low that we base things off of? And do we take out this high and all of a sudden higher highs and higher lows? And we're just continuing. Is it the classic like A, B, C, D type of a thing? And we continue all the way back up to the high from Friday at 6,018? Or are we going to get smacked here at 6,000 and basically puke through this low at 11? Basically 11 hit and people, whatever reason, bots started buying like crazy. They certainly did. Right at literally at the turn of the hour, 11:01, we just popped. You don't know. No one knows. As much as people want to tell you that they can like predict what's going to happen, they have no fucking clue what's going to happen. Active trading, like short-term trading, I'm talking about basically anything that's not investing. It's not predicting. It really isn't. It's a different mathematical game, and I don't think the retail education space explains it properly. I think within retail education, people are trying to say that there's some sort of predictive puzzle about like, hey, if you learn this, this, and this, you can predict what's about to happen. And what's weird is they'll use examples and be like, see, it was right. But in reality, the market is 50% up, 50% down. So if you're always calling for bullish off a reaction of a key level, you're going to be right half the time, wrong half the time. So this morning when I was calling for the rejection on 6,000, yeah, I mean, I've seen that before, and I had like a little bit of previous trading knowledge that people react to a key level, but it also could have just broke and ripped and ripped and ripped, because in reality, 6,000 is as meaningful as 6,001, as 5,999. It just so happens that humans put emphasis on those levels, and thus we see reactions. but it's not any more or less special than really any other nominal value that we're trading at. So in my opinion, the retail trading space is wrong, because what it should be emphasizing is just you're playing a math game, and you have to look at your risk, your reward, and your hit rate for whatever your particular strategy is. You shouldn't be saying, okay, like, I am always perpetually trying to solve this puzzle that is the market and explaining every single move of the market. That's not the game. If your game is to try to explain every single red bar and every single green bar as if it has some sort of answer that you could ever possibly discern, you're not going to enjoy this game, and you're never going to be able to get that solution ever, ever, ever. What you should be focusing on is like, okay, like maybe you're somewhere at some point in the career of developing your strategy. The idea is to be disciplined, stick to it, collect the data, and start to measure the percentage of time you're right, multiply by your average win size, and then you take away the percentage of time you're wrong, multiply by your average loss size. And if that's a positive number, you have positive expected value, and you just trade that time and time and time again. And then as you like find your footing and you find your first profitable strategy, then you work on your second one, then on your third one. And then all of a sudden you have a portfolio of strategies that you're managing, and some of them die off and you decide to sunset it. Some of them are even better and you decide to allocate more capital, and you collect more data and you realize that there's a better way to optimize it. And that's really the process of active trading. Is you put out this hypothesis of, I think this is a profitable trading strategy. The issue is people don't even get to it. They get to the point of just trading off their gut of like, I mean, how many of you in like watching this today actually traded a perfect strategy that you trade day in and day out, rather than just like, oh, it kind of looks bullish, it kind of looks bearish, and you just like threw a trade onto the market? And folks, I mean, I to this day still do that sometimes, and those are always the days that I end up feeling like a shithead and losing money, when I'm just like, nope, this should just be a cold, emotionless game of just play the math, play the math, play the math, rather than, okay, like gambling of like, oh, I think it's going to go up, oh, I think it's going to go down. And yet for some reason, it's just, I think part of our brains are just not meant for this. And it's something about the psychology of gambling and like, oh, but like, what if this is that one time that it just like really goes in my favor and I make a ton of money? And like, we're always chasing that time and time and time and time again. But in reality, for as rare as those events actually hit, for as rare as they like, because they're just not common, you just have so many examples of people blowing out in the meantime. And that's why 95% of retail traders lose money, is because they don't have like a strategy that they're actually trading. It's just like pure gut guessing. It's like just high octane gambling and not understanding the odds of the game. I have had enough cold emotionless in my life without even trading. I learned my lesson, strategy or nothing. Yeah, I mean, and we all get into those points. Like, I wish I were trading exactly like a computer would tell me to. And honestly, I wouldn't be in the stupid position that I'm in right now. Actually, do I just want to, speaking of that, I wonder if I should just cut bait while I still can. Because, like, yeah, this might turn over right here. It might. It could just get rejected and die. But what if the other situation happens? What if it just rips? Like, absolutely rips my face off. So I think that might be a more important thing to consider. Obviously, I have my wrist set. I'm not going to let it get too out of hand, but having your wrist set on a trade that you probably shouldn't be in anyway. Spies. Wow, look at that. Huge pop, some divergence, huge drop, followed by a huge pop. And that whole time, the Mag 7 just has had no chill. People are too excited about Tesla. Tesla barely dipped, came down to 351-ish, 352-ish after a huge pop. And even that's the higher low. And it's attempting to at least follow through and get a fresh high here. That's crazy. Trading is 90% psychology. Yeah, it definitely can be. It's just that discipline of sticking to exactly what you know you should be doing. And when you do that, then you could take the time to like whatever journal, collect the data on either what you should or shouldn't be doing, and starting to like really figure out what is good and like a good trading strategy versus a bad trading strategy. But unfortunately, most retail traders don't even get to that point. They don't get to the point of even being able to test, do they have a quality strategy or not? Because they're Just too caught up doing dumb shit with no strategy. And I mean, I get into those moods and those chapters and those too. And like before you know it, you just blow out your account and it's just game over. Just game over. I built and tested and optimized my code for that reason. Now I just went back in execution. Yeah, though I find those are the best days for me, of like where I have the strategy and I'm just watching it. I made it so I know when it should fire, when it shouldn't. And I just sit there and make sure that like nothing from a coding perspective goes wrong, or something like my computer like crashing. But I find that when I'm like sitting there manually trading and trying to be like, yo, like, should I get in? Should I get out? Should I be bullish, bearish? Should I add contracts? Should I double down, triple down? Should I buy the dip? Should I scale in, scale out? Like, I find when I'm asking those questions, you're gambling in the moment and hoping you're making the right decision. But I find that math is rarely involved in those decisions. So obviously you have a 50-50 shot of it working out for you, which is like in a certain sense, why it's so bad, because sometimes you could do everything wrong and half the time you're still going to make money, roughly. So that's the real problem there, is sometimes you do all the wrong things, but yet our stupid little brains, we don't recognize it because we get the positive feedback of making money. And also on that particular note, there's the times where you do all the right things and lose money. So then we're like negatively reinforcing of like, no, don't do that, even though you did all the right things and whatever, manage your position and traded with trend or traded at a key level, blah, blah, blah. Like there are examples of doing all the wrong things and making money. And then there's examples of doing all the right things and losing money. And what that subconsciously or consciously like teaches us, we're obviously taking away the wrong lesson. And I think that's like part of the reason why so many retail traders lose, part of it, but it's a very complex math and psychology issue. So when you have two very complex things, that's why you only get 5% of people who it works out for, is because you have to take care of and fix two very, very complex issues. And yet, in speaking all of that to you, here I am doing the dumb thing on the day, and just I'm at the point of praying that it break. I've already, obviously, to all of you, recognized that I've done the wrong thing. So now I'm forced to be in that position where I just hope all the poor decisions were made, and yet still half the time you're going to make money. So I'm now at that point where praying that I'm on the lucky 50%. Unfortunately. Just place the trade, set stops, and then don't look at till the end of the day. Nope, I don't agree with that. Also, why do you keep doing like the thinking face in every single comment? Is that like a common way that you talk? Is just, I've noticed every single time you say something, you feel the need to put in like the thinking face. Do you just have that like auto set on your keyboard? You're like, dude, I just need to fire more of these off. Meth equals good at math. Not sure about that one, but maybe. Retail trading is 50% luck and 50% hope. Hey, you're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong. Qs have been range bound since 10, so we're at an hour and 20 minutes of just going sideways. The SPY, well, both of these, first of all, up until that point were bullish. I want to clarify. Since then, the SPY showed a bit more weakness, but it was bought back up, back into the chop zone, while the Qs never even really broke below their chop zone. They did for a couple cents, but it was quickly bought up, and most likely because of the absurd strength that we're still continually seeing in Tesla. So at this point, we haven't made fresh highs, and we did make a local low here at 11, but at the turn of the hour at 11, basically the bulls just had way more strength. What are your thoughts on Circle? I don't trade newly listed things just because I'm not inherently against them. It's just I try to make my trades based off data. And when something just started trading, by definition, it has the least data possible. So I just need to wait for it to trade for longer and longer so I could collect more data off of it. So if you're in it, obviously I wish you the best of luck, but I tend to stay away from like new IPOs or direct listings or SPAC conversions, basically anything that just started trading, because like I said, it has the least amount of data. So as we're here saying, hey, like we should try to be like a little bit more like intentional with our moves and specific, you need data for that. So anything that just started trading, by definition, you don't have any data, or at least a large lack of data. 5 minute is still pretty freaking bullish. 10 minute is still pretty freaking bullish. 30 minute, that's bullish. 4 hour. Maybe, yeah, we're running into issues at 22,000 here, but hasn't really, I mean, I guess you could just watch the intraday high and this low at 10:55 and play whatever that breakout is. The 4 hour is on, definitely on the wrong side of history right now, folks. SPX just got smoked a little bit, having issues at that 6,000. So basically, SPX is having issues at 6,000 flat, while NQ is having issues at 22,000 right here. So both of these are potential shoulder, head, shoulder off of key levels. Now, if this works out and vomits, everyone's going to be like, dude, it was so obvious. Did you not see the technicals? It was a head and shoulders at a key level, and we're looking at World War III in the face. How did you not play it? On the other side, if it breaks out and recaptures and keeps running, all those bears who talk about head and shoulders are going to be like, no, we had higher lows. It was a breakout, and everyone's bullish after war, and you're just being emotional, and you're just not letting the price tell you what to do. So they always use the opposite argument of like why you lost money and you were dumb, when in reality, in real time, no one knows what's going to happen. Like, come on. Hey, Matt, what's your take on NEO and Lucid stocks currently trading very low? I feel like it's a good entry point. Why is something trading low meaning it's a good entry point? Don't things trade low when they're dog shit? I never really got that argument of like, just because something is like lower in price or higher in price, people think it's like a good or a bad. It's like, aren't there a gazillion other things you have to consider? Especially when things are low. Penny stocks are low, but yet 90+% of penny stocks end up in bankruptcy. So why would you necessarily want to buy it? So just because something is nominally low, as in like cheap for you to acquire, that doesn't mean you should be. Sometimes they're trading that low because they're very low quality companies and you shouldn't be touching them. All right, little fake out here. Yeah, let's run this up till noon. Run this up. Mag 7's still so strong. And well, SPY showing a bit of weakness there. Huh. All right, let's go to the 5 minute on all this. Who knows what in the world is going to happen? Who knows? Tesla is so strong. Palantir is strong too, 2%. Hey Matt, what should we do on the DJT stock buyback? Nothing. There's nothing that's like required of you in terms of like what you have to do when a company announces a stock buyback. He's talking relatively to the stock, you D-bag. No shit, you dumb fuck. I thought he was comparing it to a crypto coin. Scott, super insightful. Here I was thinking that he was talking about price relative to fart coin. I didn't realize he was talking about price relative to its own price. I would have... Scott, what would I have ever done without you? This whole time, I thought we were comparing it to Fartcoin. Like, literally, up until this moment, I thought anytime anyone ever asked me about anything in here, it was on a relative basis to Fartcoin. I never realized it was relative to its own price. Dude, I'm going to have to redo years of streams and videos. Wait. Does everyone agree with this? Or is Scott just pulling my leg here? Really? Oh my God, dude, I'm going to have to call my producer. I'm going to have to call my editor. We're going to have to redo literally every piece of content. I thought you guys wanted it relative to Fartcoin. And you're telling me it was relative to its own price? Fuck, dude. That's thousands and thousands of hours of content. Oh, I hope Scott's screwing with me. No. Folks. I'm going to have to fucking call him. Literally thousands. I might as well just delete I might as well just delete the channels now and restart. Because if I have to redo all of that, that's hogwash. That's malarkey, man. I was in the bathroom. The fuck did I miss? Chaos. We have to redo every stream and video we've ever made because I'm now being told that when people ask about price, they care about it relative to the price of where it was and itself, not relative to Fartcoin. And I thought this whole time, and you did too, that we were always comparing everything to Fartcoin. I'm just being told, Scott, we have the genius Scott in here. He's saying when people ask, are things bullish or bearish, it's like relative to where its own price was historically. And this whole time, I always just did some mathematical conversion to Fartcoin. Fuck. That's tricky. That's a tricky one. Damn. Well, yeah. Can you reimburse me for the bad guidance? I will be sending out reimbursement checks. If you've watched any of my content that I've ever created, yeah, it is probably appropriate for me to be sending out. I will be sending out all reimbursement. This is my first time loading on the stream. This guy is a jackass, LOL. To be fair, I really didn't pitch anything more than that. Fartcoin is the future. I would argue it's the now. I would argue it's somehow simultaneously the present and the future of finance. And the past. Hey, I'm back in the green. Should I do it now? I know last time I was asking about this, I said, should I be moving it to break even? But now I'm serious. All right, freebie play. I somehow, thanks to the invaluable advice given to me by our smartest viewer, Scott, I've now been able to move my stop to break even. Because like before I didn't move it because I was basing it in Fartcoin. But now that I realized I should be basing NQ off of NQ itself, I'm now stop at break even. Matt, who's your broker? A guy named Hank. He lives and works in a yellow poncho. And I just like give him cash every so often. Just like brown bags of cash. And he tells me that he's buying and selling, but I don't know if I should believe him. Scott, if this trade doesn't hit, I'm holding you financially liable. It's kind of a bummer that it got that close. It got to 32. Like I said, when it took out the 40s, I try to go back to following this system appropriately where I move with the stop to break even. So even though we took a really crazy pathway to get here, I am now technically following the system. Like an hour and a half later. And unfortunately, this might be one of those break-even trades. But hey, break-even, schmake-even. You know what they say. At least I can survive to fight another day without blowing out. I do wish it would just, well, I wish that dip right there at 32 was just another 9 points, which I really feel like wasn't even asking for much. But knowing my luck, it's going to go up, knock me out, and then instantaneously vomit down to this level. Can I be reimbursed with Farcoin instead of cash? I literally don't even have anything else to reimburse you with, so that's what everyone's getting. Trump getting mad about what? What's Trump getting mad about? Mark, what are you talking about, man? Well, we took out those lows. Tesla's still holding pretty nicely. Here's a look at the flow. Mag 7 slightly down, but pretty much untouched. The issue is that the S&P 500 did make a fresh low here. It did make a fresh and quickly bounce back up, but now we're just slowly bleeding. But hang on, the 5-minute is at support. The 10-minute has room to go, still bullish. The 30-minute definitely has room to go. So the 5-minute right here at the 50 EMA found a bit of support. Same thing on the NASDAQ. So these things are still very clearly in the bullish side. I'm about to get tagged out. I'm about to get tagged out for break even. Once again, stop is in at a tick in my favor just to pay for commission. So it's a riskless trade. If it were to vomit right here, awesome. I make money. The odds of me getting wicked out are high, but in the rare event that I don't, well, I made a lot of money and I took no risk to do it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe I get lucky. I was going to cut the stream, but at this point, I might as well stick it out with you folks. See how it goes. Might as well stick it out with you folks. Brother, oh brother, the Mag 7. Dude, that SPY flow is just getting hit. Oh, did the Discord did open. Happy to know that didn't get completely murked. What is today? Today is the 23rd. 23rd. All right, if you are in the Discord, Piper fired. So that's in there. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. It's fighting back. It's fighting back. Come on, stop it. Stop it. I'm not going to lie. I did have visions of grandeur when it went up, and then I saw that red bar, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get lucky. I'm going to be the chosen one. I'm going to be the person who gets away with no risk, and it vomits right in my favor. And then the market just so brutally teaches you that lesson that you're never going to be the lucky one. You're never going to be the lucky one. When we just saw that, I was like, oh, I puke, almost tagged me out, didn't tag me out, pukes again. I thought this next bar was just going to vomit and I'd look like a freaking genius. But instead, I'm looking like a dunce. Instead, I'm looking like a freaking dunce. But that's the fun thing about trading is whenever you engage in the market, if you're ever feeling too smart, trading just so quickly humbles you. It's the best thing. If you ever feel like you're too smart or if you ever feel like you have too much money, I highly recommend you start trading because you'll rapidly feel stupid and you'll rapidly lose your money. You should try this new strategy I've been workshopping. It's called the retard strangle. All I do is at market open buy a put and a call so far out of the money that it's 1 cent and sell it if it goes to 2. Well, let us know how it works. Great show of belittling your audience. Just the stupid people in the audience, I would say, probably including you. It seems like you and Scott are like the two dumb ones. See, what's so weird is So like right now we're streaming to a couple thousand people between Rumble and YouTube. And yet there's always like, just statistically, you're going to get some dumb people. But what's weird is those dumb people are allowed to comment as much as anyone else. So it's just you, Wonder, and Scott. Just two, like statistically, we're actually having a good day. That's only 2 dumb people out of thousands. That's not even 1%. Unfortunately, you're allowed to talk as much as anyone else can talk, which is whatever. But also for another grown man to be like, I got belittled, maybe, and just hear me out on this, maybe you're too much of a pussy to be in the markets anyway. Like, have you considered that? Like, maybe you just don't have the emotional maturity or the psychological fortitude to be trading anyway. Like a grown man saying another grown man on the internet belittled him. Like, what a giant fucking pussy. Like, think about that. Like, conceptually, how crazy that is. You remember for a while there, like the women's marches where they wore pussy hats? That, it feels like this guy would be doing that. AMC is the best financial decision I have ever made. Not me, Luke. I'm happy it was for you. Dude, this feels like it's about to tag me out. I'm just trying to live stream my financial demise to you guys, and it's so close, and yet it just has not hit. Like one little errant pump, and this is going to knock me out. And it just hasn't happened. It just hasn't happened. But it's getting there. Is this the pump that tags me? Honestly, you could argue that this is now becoming a waste of time because either it's going to hit that, which most likely it's about to happen, or it's going to drop and hit my profit target. But, I mean, the fact that is this it? Is this it? Is this where I get tagged out for break even? No. Scott, this is your fault. This is me versus Scott right now. Who's going to win? Probably Scott, because he's cheating. He's playing on steroids. Can I get this lucky? Is this my lucky day? Is this my lucky day? Does old Mateo dodge the exit by a point and it vomits into his favor? No. Lucky Monday, lucky Monday. Scott's sweating. He knows we're on to him. We're on to you, Scott. We're on to you. See, this is what Scott's running scared right now. What you're witnessing in real time. Scott almost had me. I'm not going to lie. Scott had me in the first half. He had me in the first half, but we're figuring out his game. We're figuring out Scott's game. And this is just, it's a battle of minds. This is nothing but a battle of raw intellect. That's what you have going on right now. Scott, I'm coming for you. You almost had me. It was a fake out. I lit the market pump right here. These 3 minutes, I wanted Scott to have a false sense of security. And then bam, I hit him with a right hook out of nowhere. I was acting like he had me on the ropes. I was hitting him with the Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope technique. I was like, oh, you got me. You got me. Surprise. You got me for nothing. That was the technique, basically. It was all pre-planned. A lot of you think maybe I'm just doing this by pure luck, but in reality, I know what's going on here. I know it might look like I'm just randomly trading and I have no plan, but there's a lot of deep psychology in this particular trade. Oh, so stupid. What has my life become? Well, I still technically do. I have a degree in engineering. What the fuck has my life become? I have to argue with retards on the internet. I'm a trained engineer. I worked for a multi-billion-dollar company as a software engineer, and this is what my life has fucking turned into. Arguing with retards on the internet, pissing away all of my life savings on stupid trades for your entertainment. Well, I'd like to dedicate that one to you, Scott. That one's for you. Scott thought he had me, but he fucking didn't. Martin, wow, that was very lucky. Was it Martin? Or am I chosen by God? Maybe God shines upon me. Have you considered that? Have you maybe considered that it's not luck and the market gods favor my position? Maybe. Maybe, just maybe. Scott. Yes, dude, Scott. He entered into an arena he just didn't quite understand. He just didn't get it. He didn't have a shot, folks. I do this professionally. This is getting so far off the rails. I'm at the point where I don't even know what I'm saying. That's how you know the show's going far off the rails. The problem with retail is they always think they are the chosen one. Yeah, no, but this time I really am the chosen one. That's a good point. No. We're all chosen. But anyway, 30K locked in, 20K on Apex funded, 5K. Oh, fuck. No. Oh, God. I didn't know if the orders changed for them. I didn't realize they weren't locked in. That could have been bad. Wait, working? No. Cancel orders. Cancel all orders. Cancel all orders. That could have been something. I didn't realize in my system reboot that those didn't get connected. That could have been bad, dude. Sometimes you got to play fast and loose with the rules. Yeah, I should shut this down. Hang on. Let me cancel all these orders. All right. Okay. Cancel. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that I don't have any errant orders. We'll disconnect from that. We'll disconnect from that. We'll reconnect. We'll see. Okay. I think we are good. 1,000 locked in there on 5 funded accounts, on 5 eval accounts. And then, okay, and they're all locked in too, and I don't think I have any crazy orders. Okay, I think I'm good. I think I am good. That, we dodged a bullet there, folks. There would have been orders, and they probably would have gotten hit, and then I would have blown out, and then I would have been mad. But that's all she wrote. I am getting conflicting information on if you guys want the update videos or if you want a power hour stream. So I am going to, at some point today, go to the Wheel of Destiny and decide from there. So there might be a power hour stream today. There might be an update video today. And you're going to find out based on the Wheel of Destiny. So I don't know what the answer is. It's going to be all up to the wheel. Whatever the wheel tells me to do is what I'm going to do. That's what I have for you, folks. I will either catch you this afternoon or I'll catch you this evening. So I'll be catching you at one of those two. Make sure your notifications are on both Rumble and on YouTube's. And that's what I have for you, I suppose. I'm trying to think of anything else. Anything else? That's it. Congrats to Wonder and Scott for completely losing against me today. Congratulations to everyone else who faded my trades. We were once again chosen by the market gods to make money. And shout out to Public. Sign up for those guys. Shout out to Apex. Sign up for that. You have a day and a half left. And that's about all I have for you. I'm trying to think of anything else. I'll see you later. I'll either see you this afternoon or I'll see you tonight. So it's not goodbye. It's catch you later. Smell you later. Thanks for all the good vibes. Peace.